There's a tendency to get overwhelmed in details. And that is actually will destroy a lot of really good paintings and drawings. I mean, there are artists who will paint every one of these little bumpity bump, little lines.
Even if you were to do a circle.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles. That's not that much. Circle is not a hard thing to draw. So what I'm trying to tell you is I want you to focus on the bigger shapes first. And we don't really deal with the details until, and particularly these detail, which is all in the background. The foreground is really this shape. It's this shape. There's a little bit of detail here. There's like 7 circles. It takes me about a minute to draw 7 circles. I don't know. Like, it's just, there's not as much. It looks like there's a lot of detail, but you're probably not going to add that much detail. I also wanted to suggest that we might take this painting over 2 sessions. So I'm really into this idea of trying to spread out the time that we take, because I know you guys want to finish things. And then we can talk about, because it's true, Sandra, we don't really have time often to talk about the finishing details in one class. So, but I would encourage you not to get overwhelmed by this. What I do when I see a scene like this is I actually ignore completely what's happening in the background. I know I'm going to handle it with some kind of detail. I think about these shapes. I think about this overarching shape. I think about this shape. And only once I start working a bit of this detail do I start thinking about even what's happening back here. It all depends on kind of how big your painting is and how much you want to put into it. So the way of, when I'm training you to paint, the way of kind of thinking about this is to think, the way of thinking about this is to be thinking, I'm going to deal with my subject first, my foreground first, and then I'm going to see how much detail I need to get into it. You know what I'm saying? So try not to get into that detail. Like, I literally do just ignore it. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to have to get into it, but to some degree, but I'm going to try to get into it as little as possible. What I'm really interested in, let's see, let's do just a little box. We'll go back to pencil for this, because I feel like there's enough detail. And here, let me fold this as well. Right. So if I look at this, if I draw a line, let's say just down the middle. Yep. Can anybody figure out the halfway point, where the halfway point of this vertical line is? What lands there? I'm going to do it myself. Remember how to do this? Were you? Here, I'll demo it. I'm in a new place, so I'm a little bit like, oh, where is everything? Okay, I'm looking down. Oh, so maybe I don't even need this, but I'm holding my arm straight. Here. I'm holding my arm straight, right, and my pencil to try and, my pen here to try and find the halfway point. Let's see, one. I think I got it. Where do you think it is? You guys try it. Tell me, where do you think the halfway point is of this vertical line?
Somewhere at the top end of the neck.
Like about here?
Look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One.
Let's see. Excellent. Good job. So I like to think that this is really the top, the head versus the neck, right? Like, so the head is kind of mostly here at the halfway point, and the beak is right here. And the neck comes kind of down below. Let's see, one, if I were to divide this into quarters, yep. Here's my quarter points. And of course, let's see how the width compares to the height. It looks like the width is almost half the height. So when you come here and you sketch, hi Emma, by the way, hi Diana. When you come here and you sketch your vertical line, and I find my top and my bottom, I'm gonna find my halfway point here. 1, 2, sorry, I'm like here, I need to try and fit both of these in here. My God, it's amazing like how much one gets used to. Okay, so I'm finding my halfway point. 1. Okay, and then half this distance is my midpoint here. That's about right. I can sketch in my, so go ahead and show me your little box. Or if you think you've got it, here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
Were you on the phone? Is that why you didn't, were you on the phone when you first came in?
Well, yeah, and I guess I have to work a little bit, but I'm just here for the company.
All right. Well, we like that.
And I will try to paint a little bit, but I have to work a little bit first.
Right. So as you guys see these first shapes, they're not exactly circles, I guess. They're more like, well, this one's kind of circle-y. This one's a little bit more curve line connecting to angle lines, right? I want you to observe, and I'll send you a picture so you can really see this well. I know it's a little tricky because I only have a blue pen today. Hold on. Here we are. Oh, excuse me. There we go. So you all have it. So Sandra, do you see how I'm just kind of blocking in the major shapes? I mean, eventually I'm going to have to deal with them.
I'm more worried about the painting than the drawing.
But that's also the, it's all the same, right? We're going to have to deal with them in some way.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's an interesting, and if you want to, you can kind of use these lines to block off. Like I can see that the width here is the same as the width from here. So I can come down here. So you see how once I've established a distance here to here, I can come over here and use it. I can also see that this comes up kind of right down like that. This is Sandra, the truth is this is like the way painters don't go crazy. Like if you had to look at everything, if one went right to the detail of everything right away, you'd never paint anything.
I guess I look at it and I'm thinking, how am I going to do that?
Yeah, so what you tell yourself is, where are the major shapes? Where are the biggest shapes? And then you start thinking about how to deal with it kind of as needs to know basis. Like,
It's a beautiful picture though.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think
I love this bird, so I'm happy to try
and
to
you
honor.
know, we have, yeah, you know, we're all learning here, right? So we're all just like trying. But that feeling, I guess maybe what I should say is embrace that feeling, but also I don't have to answer this question yet. Because once I get a certain amount of foreground detail, I may not need so much background.
I
right?
suppose I usually look at it because I want to know whether I'm going to launch into this or not. But I'll try.
Try it without thinking anything. I guess that's what I would say is there's always this point in the painting or the drawing where as a painter or a drawer, you're like, what the hell have I done to myself? Like, it's always that point. I try to stave that off as long as possible, just quite simply so I don't intimidate myself. It's literally like a mental mind game you play. These are the mind games we play with ourselves. Can you do that? Sure. Like, sure. I just finished this that giant bridge painting. And you know, the real problem with that bridge is it's a suspension bridge. So there's all these girders. And I did not think about those girders until the very minute I had the stamina to do them. I just didn't even think about it. I got all the other pieces in place. And then the day I was ready to do that, I did it. But I didn't really think about it beforehand because otherwise it's like you're kind of stressed out all the time and it's not worth it.
So Annika, what day are you moving?
June.
On the 7th is when the moving company comes, but we're going to start on the 1st. Kind of, we have the place from the 1st, but we have this one for another 10 days or so. So we're going to go back and forth.
How does it feel? Good?
Yeah, it
She's
feels good.
excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be really fun. But I'm a little terrified too. A little terrified.
Is it the moving part?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the,
just we have so much crap.
it's
I
just
kept saying,
exhausting.
oh,
isn't it?
we don't have that much stuff. And I'm like, oh, what an idiot I am.
No, you have a lot of stuff. We all do, way more than you think. I just
Yeah.
helped a friend move. It was brutal. You should be a little terrified.
Can you imagine me moving from this house,
No.
Annika?
Never,
No,
never.
no. I
I've
don't
never
think we
even
should.
been to your house, and I know, Diana, that it would be impossible. You just can't move. You got to die there. Like a long time from now.
We have so much stuff. And just the books. I mean, we have so many books.
Oh God. I know.
It's,
Yeah, I'm kind of happy I don't have as much stuff as I would have had if I had known that I could stay here. But I've always kind of known that I'd have to leave.
And now that day has come.
Yeah, so I haven't.
Well, I'm sorry. My
collected
suggestion
quite
is
as
a
much.
lot of whiskey. And
Doesn't help you pack.
you know, it's actually fascinating that you bring this up, Annika, because it's the same with what you're doing. If you
Yeah.
really thought about every detail of what you have to do to move, you wouldn't do it.
yeah, it's the same as what you're doing. Actually, when I moved from Sweden, I had a lot of stuff there too.
It's
I had
really
it.
brutal.
Huge plate. So I invited all my friends and I said, okay, we're having a silent auction at my house. Bid on anything you want. I leave 2 books here for you. Write down what you want and I'll let you know if you get it.
Oh.
And I sold stuff for, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was like closer to $10,000.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So that paid for my move and everything. So
Right. But you,
And-
still, you had to
and-
move it, Jen. You still had to move it, like Diana.
no, they
The
came
point
and
is,
they came and got what they had bid on. And
right,
then
but
I
my
only
point
had
is you
to
still
move
had to
the
move
rest.
a lot of stuff even without moving all that. So
Isn't-
here's the idea. The idea is, I think the idea that we're talking about is when do you start focusing on the detail? And my argument always is, don't think about it until you're well into painting the easier parts of the painting. Then you make a decision. If you decide you want to bail on the painting, that's okay too. But if you kind of work yourself up into a lather, it's just like Annika right now. She literally thought about every single thing that has to be moved from her house. It's overwhelming. you can't function. It's completely impossible. Right? Like it's impossible. It's impossible to actually think about it. And I know this, Annika, because I just moved somebody, a friend of mine, literally yesterday, and it was painful. And I was only doing a little tiny part of it. It was fucking brutal. So not to freak you out or anything.
Thanks.
But why, do you see why that doesn't help? That doesn't help, does it? Doesn't help at all, at fucking all. It does not help to think about all the things you've got to do. You're going to go through it as you do it. And when the situation comes up, you're going to deal. And my recommendation is a lot of whiskey, you know, and you'll just slog through. There are parts of life where you have to slog through.
I don't drink.
drink.
So don't drink, but you'll slog through. Drink a lot of
I
coffee.
smoke though. I mean, pot.
Smoke weed. Yes, just do whatever you need to do, baby, to get by. Seriously.
I can do that.
Right? That's when we want, if we think about it, if we do too much anticipatory stuff, like it just, I don't know, it ruins it.
Yeah, but still, I think, well, I don't know, because I'm not a professional artist, so I have to look at something and think, am I going to be able to do that or not?
Well, how about
Maybe that's just today I'm thinking I'm just going to learn. Maybe it's going to look terrible, but it doesn't matter.
right, exactly.
But sometimes you want to know that you're going to be able to do it well.
Sometimes you want to know that you're going to be able to do
Probably not.
This may actually just be a character difference between you and me. You may be more of a planner and I may be more of a, let's just fucking deal with it when we get into it.
Yeah, but then very often you say, oh, this is much harder than I thought.
I always say that, Sandra. I say that with every single painting. I'm glad you figured that out about me by now. That's true. Yes. So it may just be, you may also be forced with my whim, right? Because here I am, the teacher, just going, oh, it'll be fine. My mother said when I was a very tiny child, I used to, at the moment I could walk, I would just go running out the door, like literally not looking back, not looking forward, just running out the street, down the way. She said it was impossible. I feel sorry for her now that she had to keep track of me. I was impossible. So yes, this could be a character trait on my part where I'm just like, oh, well, we'll see how it goes.
I think men are most often like that. I remember this Reuters journalist telling me a long time ago, he said, you know, women are always like, oh, I wonder whether I'm going to be able to do this. And I mean, he was talking about job, you know, journalism, whereas guys are like sometimes overly confident.
So yeah, that's true.
And women underestimate themselves very often.
But that comes from our conditioning as well, right? As women, we are always told
I don't
that.
know.
Well, I guess I don't have it.
Because I don't think I was particularly conditioned. I think
Right.
maybe it's different, maybe more cautious character. I don't know.
I think you have a more cautious character. I think you like to plan things, which is good. I mean, that's a good characteristic.
No,
right?
no,
And
I'm
I-
not one of these people who's like a shrinking flower either. But when
Right.
it comes to painting,
Right.
I
I
pretty
just think it's a
know what are my
combination of
abilities.
knowing how you think about stuff. And sometimes it's helpful for me, who is not a planner, to like, I mean, I plan, I have a strategy, right? But I have to change it sometimes, right? Like in the middle of things. I'm very flexible, I'll change it. And I think it's helpful sometimes for me to take a little bit of what, Sandra, you do very naturally, which is to plan and bring it into the process. For you, it's probably helpful to maybe sometimes not like plan so much, you know, like it's to know who you are and then to moderate it. I feel like with painting, this is constantly the way. And Rashmi, the thing I wanted to say, this is a perfectly good painting, but why didn't you fill up the whole canvas?
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
realized.
Why didn't you just, so you should have just brought this up here and made this as wide and then it would fit the whole canvas. Do you want to quickly try and sketch that out? Or do you just want to leave it the way it is? Try it. Try making it big. Look how high up it goes here, right? You don't have to do it the same size as me. Try having it only because I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all
gonna
learn from
try.
each other, don't we?
Oh,
Sandra, I loved your vlog. I read it.
oh, thank you.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
Inspirational.
Don't you think? I mean, I knew it would be good.
Yes.
I knew it would be good. I didn't know how good it was going to be. Like, you know, I always knew it was going to be good. She was the first person who came to my mind. But yeah, you made an impact, Sandra. You've made
Well,
an
good.
impact.
Hopefully we get people. I mean, my friend in Asia read it as well, and hopefully we get makes people want to paint.
Yeah, I'm going to try a few. I'm very open to opening up some new classes. So I'm hoping during Mental Health Month will attract people to, I mean, I may introduce them in October, or I may introduce them. I don't think I'm going to introduce
before.
the Asia classes.
You're gonna lose momentum if you wait till October.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to show up in July. That's like in the summer. You know what I mean? It's just not a time when we tend to kind of dwindle.
But sometimes
October.
think of it in Australia.
Sometimes it's also when people are off.
So I have had no contact with anybody from Asia.
Well, because they tell me, but
Okay, I haven't heard anybody, but they got, I mean, I have a little contact, but I'm just not sure summer is the time to launch a new program. I'll try, but like, I might try, but you know, that means I get up at 5 a.m.
I know.
So it's very
another
hard.
solution.
It's not really, I'm not really willing to do that if like one person shows up. Honestly, I'm just not. So I need to get a group together. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yes, I think it's all been really great.
I'll
Go
send you
ahead.
only my sketch.
Okay.
It probably should have been more to the right, but I think it's going to be okay.
I think we have a little flexibility here, right?
Oh.
In this
Hold on, I
sketch.
did-
And can you guys see that I've also, here, I'll send this over so you can really see it. Let's see. Mhm.
Sorry, it's
Annika, I feel like it's a little, hold on, let's see. Nope, it's good, that's good. It's good, all's good.
I must say the camera on this program, it makes like a very long rectangle, which my stuff never is.
I have noticed that about cell phones, that it tends to elongate.
It's not a cell phone, it's the app. It's
Oh, really? That could be,
Yeah,
but it's developed.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, yeah, unless there is a way of correcting it. I don't know.
I never use WhatsApp to take photos. I use the regular camera.
But it takes a bit
Yeah, I often do
WhatsApp
too.
is- Yeah,
Let's
the
see.
only
WhatsApp
for
is
this.
perfect. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it here.
Oh, yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, you basically made this a vertical as opposed to
It's a square.
a square. Yeah, as opposed to a rectangle. That works perfectly well. Hold on, let me just double check the measurements. So I think there's something off about the shape of the head.
It's tilted too much forward. It's too much.
It's the neck is too high up. If you look here, see the
It's because, but it's because my paper continued, so I had to continue the neck below. Yeah.
Okay, so
You see what I mean?
got it. Oh, I see what you mean. Yep, I totally see what you mean. I still think there's something a little off about the beak. I think it's curving in a little too much. It's so easy to do this, right? To make a little tiny line.
Oh yeah, it's the
Look
wrong
at
angle.
this shape.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's the wrong
So,
angle.
and Sandra, look at these. So I like to think about these. There's this
Let me see.
angle here, right? And then there's another angle here. So these are like angle lines. It's like 1, 2, 3. Right? He's a little bit squarer than you have him. Later, you can kind of round it, but that his head kind of juts forward a little bit more. So it'll help you if you shape the beak on this side.
Because that's
and
the
on this
eye.
side, using the negative space. You can't, well, the eye is over here.
That jutting is the eye.
Well, you can't really see
No,
it.
but we
Oh,
can't see it.
yeah.
Eye
Absolutely.
socket.
Absolutely. See it here? Yes, it kind of almost goes straight down and then up. So really look at, yes, there's always a lot more angularity than you think. Do you ever find that? I find that particularly when I'm figure drawing, I'm like, there's always so much more angularity than we think. And by the way, guys, I can already see, having taken in what Sandra has observed, we may work on this painting for 2 sessions. So I want you to let it be okay if we do that. I'm spreading almost all classes into 2 sessions, sometimes 3, and it's really helpful. All right, let's see, Emma. 2. Yep, looks great. Looks great, Emma. Anybody else want to show an Ani? Let's see. 1. He has a little big bird type quality to his head, doesn't he? In this initial like shaping. Yep, all looks great, you guys. You guys really know how to do this. It's amazing to me. I mean, it shouldn't be. You've been doing this a while. You know what you're doing. So let me show you a little trick I like to do when I'm sketching
that's
something
my
like an
dog.
eye. Of course, she's our
She's
constant.
talking to
Hello,
she's
darling.
talking to her toy.
Oh, how sweet. One of the things, sometimes, I don't know if you guys find this, it's very hard to find the eye. So one of the things I like to do when I've created this little box for myself is actually to sketch in a diagonal like this to help me place the eye in the right context. So just to show you how I translate this here, I'll take a picture because it's a little hard to see. There we go. I will actually sketch it in here like this, because if you draw these lines, it helps you kind of locate where the eye actually is. It kind of runs right up here. And down like this, and it kind of comes in like that. So that, do you see how like I'm more able to kind of using this like little extra cross helps me kind of figure out exactly where that sits. There's my light. I can erase it afterwards. I mean, I can also use, and when I'm working the beak, I'm going to, oops, do it in little pieces. I'm going to do this little shape first. Right. I'm kind of coming up here. Yeah. Okay. So it just helps me, those sort of grid lines can sometimes help me exactly place the eye in the right place. It's nice. So if you want to use that technique, you're welcome. You can see I'm already sketching in this. I'm already trying to decide, oh, how much work is this really worth? I'm kind of, if I can get it in with a pencil, maybe. Definitely tedious as heck. Do you see how, although it's kind of fun, because I'm sort of building off of the last layer, which means you're kind of constructing the lower layers too. You can decide to do this or not. I might as well, just to show you how. If you want to, you can kind of start from this end and do, so here's another tip, right? Just pull the petals that are close to the grid because they'll be easier to see. And that will help you kind of make sure you get everything
Do you
in the
count
right
them?
places. See this? So see how I'm coming here and I'm like lining up these shapes here. Oh yeah, I'm doing it the way it is. I'm not faking it. I'm not just doing a pattern. I'm actually trying to capture the pattern that's there. So I'm giving you some tips on how you might do that. This is probably something that's good. So here, now I come here, right? And then I can come down one layer and I can see how those lines interact. It's kind of obsessive, but a little bit fun. It's easy to get lost. Sometimes it helps. Well, you guys can't do that, so I'm not going to do that. I was going to say, sometimes it helps to put your finger where things are, but. But you don't have to do this. If you want to do this, you can. If not, you can probably deal with the tail feathers as simple. Let's see, where am I? I am 1, 2, 4, 4, right? We were all thinking yesterday when in the face drawing class, how nice it was to have faces to draw and all of that tedious measuring, because what a shit show of a horrible week it has been. So sometimes it's nice to have these little tasks because they, I don't know.
Take you away from
They
daily life.
just take you away from thinking about how awful people can be.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's incredible. It's like no words, right? No fucking
Oh,
words.
the awful thing is that you get used to mass shootings, which is disgusting by itself.
That is
But-
absolutely disgusting.
But this
Yeah.
one has just,
It's the worst.
it's the worst. It's so
It's the
fucking
worst.
awful.
It's the worst.
The fact that I put him too high makes life complicated.
Well,
I'm just-
yes, because what do you do
persevere.
with this? Yeah.
But I need more of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't, that's, you know, so that's something to think about strategically as you're, when you're starting to work things out, that is always something to keep in mind.
You don't happen to have a photo of what's below that, do you, Annika? by any
That's
chance?
the only
No.
photo.
This
That's
is a
it.
photo
It
that
wasn't
I got
cropped
from my
or anything.
husband and it was already cropped. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
couldn't
No,
find the
don't worry.
original. I was
I'll
looking.
make it up.
Because she wanted his little top of his head too, which we didn't get either, but
Yeah, with the little thingies, but
so cute.
Yeah.
He's got a big eye, huh?
He
Sorry?
does.
Yeah.
A big, beautiful eye.
I like that. It's a shame it's black, but
It's got reflective highlights and a lighter lower lid and all those things that can help you.
yes,
make that-
absolutely.
Make you, all those, remember, it's not just the eye, it's like the things around the eye that help you with that.
Very much so.
Let's see. Ah, there you go, Rashmi. Doesn't that feel better? Take up all the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I think, well, let me look here. Did you try this technique to locate his eye?
I mean, I missed some of your like instructions. I was drawing this, but
I feel like something looks off about,
Yeah,
okay, so
Looks
let's
like a-
double check it. So the first thing, have you divided everything exactly in half? Okay, so I think
it's a
the
messy-
beak needs to come down more.
Okay.
And notice how it comes down here. It's probably about halfway to the quarter point.
Okay.
It came right across. But really pay attention to the negative space, right? The negative shape. And the eye is also comes down lower. So my suggestion is, I'm going to repeat it, is that you draw a line on each edge here, right? From one end to the other of the box. And you'll see exactly where the eye falls. So I think your eye needs to be bigger, and I think it needs to come down further. And if you want to see exactly where it is, you draw here and then look at this to figure out where exactly to place the eye. Annika, his beak is a little bit more slim down here.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Look
Yeah.
at that. See how his beak comes actually down here. There's a little bit of space. That'll make a difference. It's funny how the little things make a huge difference.
I have a bad pencil. It's like really too dark and I can't erase it.
Bad pencil.
I know, no, but it's just I've done some lines and I can't get rid of them.
Yeah, well, you'll paint over them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bummer when that happens. Okay, there you go. So it's easy to make this beak too thick. And notice it's not that big a difference. It's not that big. It's not that sort of, and take your time, you guys, because I can already tell we're going to take a couple weeks to paint this. So I want you to spend your time to get the drawing where you need it to be. Let's see.
I think the head is too deformed, you know.
I think, yeah, I mean,
It's a bit rounder than that.
it's actually, here, hold on, I'm looking. 1, 2. The beak is a little bit bigger. If you can bring your line down here.
You mean longer?
No, it's more like thicker. It comes out, you have the neck, bring the neck down. Look at where the neck comes in and the beak comes up.
Oh,
Into
right,
it.
right, right.
Right? So that will
Yeah.
also help. And this
Yes.
is and you have this line, it's a little, it should be, let's see.
Straighter.
This should come out a
This-
little bit higher and this should be a little bit straighter and angled to the right, just a touch. So try that. All these little things. There's a tedious exercise for you. You guys are doing good. I'm gonna erase these lines. Yeah, I don't have a bad pencil, but I didn't think I brought my good eraser with me. I didn't, darn it.
Guys, check out this umbrella that my sister-in-law just brought over.
Here, hold on. Hold it.
Bad luck. No, don't be silly.
It is, it's bad luck. You put it up halfway. It's not
Here,
bad luck.
put it up halfway. There we go.
Halfway. It's only half bad luck.
Oh, how fortuitous. Ah,
That's quite cool.
there you go. She's opening it up behind you. That's
Paint the
fantastic. I love it. That's great.
That was funny.
That's a nice idea for an umbrella. Maybe you could seduce a peacock if he saw it.
Well, Annika has.
he's getting frustrated now that no woman has showed up. No, we used
No
to have
girl.
friends.
Admire him.
He used to be all of them, but now he's all alone. It's just him and his half brother who stays away a little bit. But so he's kind of giving up now. So he's getting droopy, and he's going to start losing his feathers soon.
You need to
Aw.
find a girl for him.
I know. I'm thinking about doing that as the last thing. Go out
You
and buy
do?
a female, yeah.
You mean buy one and get one
Yeah.
over to him?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why
But you
not?
could also put an ad, and maybe somebody has got the opposite problem.
Yeah.
Need to get rid of a peacock.
No, but
That-
maybe as a girl without a boy.
Hmm.
But
Oh,
he's
yeah. They
but
can
he's
visit.
also like when he dances to you, and he's like thinking that, well, maybe you'll have to do. then
Right.
then his eyes, the way he looks at you, he's like all his feathers, and he's really doing the
the
check me
soft.
out.
He admires.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you guys ever read Animal Vegetable Miracle by Barbara Kingsolver? It's about the year of her family living off only what they could grow. And there's a whole, or raise themselves. And there's a whole like chapter on turkeys and how the turkeys are like constantly going after her husband and not each other. That's sort of the mating gene in turkeys has been completely, because of industrialization, has been completely sort of taken out of the natural turkey. It's really hard. So they go after her husband, but not like, anyway, they get a little purring like sound, and the girls come after him and try to get him to like, they lay their feathers out, and she's like, there's fucking male turkey there, like do it. But they don't.
Maybe they don't like him. Remember how pandas are very hard to mate.
Are they
in zoo-
picky?
they're so picky, and the female is only fertile for like 2 days a year.
And they're
So-
very lazy as well.
So zoos go through great expense, right? Flying one from another country, and then the males look at the female and think, "Oh no, she's bigger than me. I can't mate her. No, I don't like her." And vice versa. And it's so incredibly difficult. So now, in fact, the Washington Zoo zoos, what they do, in fact, they use artificial inseminations because pandas mating is disastrous. They just mate so rarely. They have all sorts of reasons for not mating and not liking the one partner who happens to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we covered stories about pandas mating after so many years in a Hong Kong zoo. So yeah, and then there was like this whole detail about them being very lazy and
Being what?
I think
Lazy.
being very lazy.
They're more lazy. I think they don't like each other. Or they're like they're very picky. They're very picky about their
Yeah.
mates, and
And
I
they
think
say,
that many of them.
Well, they don't move that much. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, they
Josh?
do. They just don't mate. They move a lot. They just don't mate. But the problem is that the female, it's only like you have to catch her, these 2 days a year or something. And then if the male is not in the mood, or he's afraid of her, or there's all sorts of reasons. So artificial insemination is the way that zoos are going now, which is why you hear of baby pandas. Otherwise, it wasn't really happening. So maybe peacocks are like that.
Yeah.
Ta en bild på den, sätta upp här.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys, I think there's only one or two colors, but it could be anything. What colors do you think we ought to underpaint this puppy? Actually, there's several colors we could use as an underpainting. Who has thoughts? You can pick whatever you want.
I'll be predictable.
Alizarin crimson.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Yep.
But that's a good undercolor.
It's a great underpainting. And Annika's really fallen in love with alizarin crimson in a way I think is fantastic. Alizarin crimson is great. It's kind of a neutral. It's neither warm nor cold. It can kind of go either direction depending on what you do with it. So it's a very great kind of flexible color. But I also think you like the coolness of it, which is really great to me. I see lots of great color mixes in your picture. Give me just a second, you guys. Well, Annika, I'm excited for your new adventure. We can't wait to see it.
Because why are you excited about the place? Is it because where you are is really nice, right? But you're going to
Yeah.
someplace even nicer?
She's
Where
going
I
to
am
a
is-
cool place.
Yeah,
Sorry?
no, it's a beautiful place up in the mountains with views all over. And you even though there's a lot of, I mean, the freeway is quite close, but you don't see it. You just see nature, and it's just really. I'll send you some pictures when I get.
Oh,
But
cool.
here, where I am, is very nice too. But most of everything green here is because I watered it. And usually I'm kind of in the desert here, and so there everything is green naturally, and
Oh, that's nice.
so that'll be a big change.
How come it's green naturally? Because it's in the mountains and gets more
Yeah,
rain?
it's a cooler climate. It's a different climate. It's closer to San Diego, and they have it's much cooler there, really.
But
I
San
mean-
Diego, I thought was really hot.
No, it's not. It's
It's south,
comparatively, it's not.
right?
A lot of people that go there in the summer are amazed how cold it is, because
What is
the
it called?
ocean. Yeah, the ocean is cold and around us anyway, and San Diego
What is-
is really.
What is it called?
The place I'm going to is Rainbow. It's called Rainbow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
What a beautiful name.
yeah. As soon as I heard the name, I thought this has got to be it.
That's the place.
But it was hard to get, so it's nice. I think it'll be lovely. I'll send you some pictures. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's kind of a hippie place, I used to be a hippie.
You still are. You still are.
I still. Well, now I have to.
Annika, that looks great. Go ahead and get started with your painting. Here.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Mhm. Diana, have you tried using the paints that
Yeah.
Osiris gave you. How are they coming along?
They're actually pretty good.
Excellent. What's the brand again?
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, that's right.
So were you
Amsterdam
familiar
is
with
good.
it, Leah? Amsterdam?
I use it, I was telling Diana, I use it sometimes, particularly if they have a color that I like, right? But I don't
They have so
generally.
many colors. I mean, it's
They have
ridiculous.
great
I mean,
colors.
it's small tubes, but here are my yellows and my reds. I mean, look how many there are. I mean,
Yeah. Here, hold on. Let me
it's
put you up there.
too many use.
Hold
Too
them up.
many.
Hold on. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
just,
yeah. I have used them, but it's funny. I sometimes will buy them if they have, yeah, if they have a particular hue.
have
that I
like-
like.
it's crazy, crazy many colors.
Mhm. Kind of neat. So if I'm looking for something new, I mean, you know, I'm a golden person, but
Yeah.
like,
I-
it's fun to look at what other people have.
Yeah, I like golden too. I thought I didn't like them first, and now I like them.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it's
golden
a-
are the best.
I mean, it's,
Golden are the
yeah, their quality is really
Yeah.
good. Their quality is really good. And I like a lot of their pigment mixing. I like a lot
Yeah.
of how the pigments come out.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time.
And my shitty paint that I used to use, that was my favorite. It's just turned into shit.
Winsor Newton, right?
You've not received the new one yet?
No. But it probably takes 2 months from England.
Yeah, because of Brexit, they've explained to me that shipping is disastrous. It costs a lot of money. It's incredibly slow.
I mean, shipping, it's just everything.
Yeah, but because you know these pastel things that I do,
Yes.
so it's organized by Unison, which is a British brand of pastels, very good brand.
I
And
love Unison.
the whole point of doing this is that they can sell you a set, right? The artist will organize this class or this. Sometimes they're free, sometimes they're not.
Yep.
But we'll put together a set for you to do the painting with, so that you have
Right.
the exact colors that they use.
Right.
So you, and that's a extra. So you, if the class, so that's extra. Obviously, you have to buy that, and I think that's the
Right.
whole point.
Right.
But if you're abroad, they say don't bother. You're not going to get
You
it.
never get it. You'll never
really
get it.
expensive
Right.
shipping. It's like
Terry Ludwig Pastels does that for me. He's one of my favorites
I
here
really
in the
just
US.
like how dusty they are.
They are dusty, but I do
I
love
love
the colors.
I
are
love the
so
color
beautiful.
ranges. A bit like, in fact, Diana's colors right now made me think of that because they have entire gradations. Terry Ludwig, which is part what I like best, but I hate the dust.
Right. Hey, Rashmi, almost there. I want you to look at where your beak is compared to where it is here, right? It just comes to the edge, the very edge of your box. You've got yours in like this, which is why it looks too sharp and fat. And notice how far it extends up past the neck. See that? Yep. You almost got it. I know it's hard when you've reorient. So it comes, the beak comes all the way to the edge right here at the halfway point, and then it just comes down and dips up. Also, these guys are a bit bigger, probably about twice the size as the way you've drawn them. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to start painting. I don't care. if
Do
it's-
it. Yes. Yes. That's a girl. That's a girl. So, and why don't I do that as well? Get started. Anybody else have thoughts on their colors?
No, I wanted advice. I don't know what to do.
Well, what's the top colors?
Green, blue.
So what's the obvious choice? What's the obvious choice?
Red.
Yes.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. I'm going to use cadmium red light because I'm obsessed with it right now. And I really love it as a base, but you can use burnt, you can use any red. Anik is using
Clear.
Elzar and Crimson. Yes,
This thing might be great for a peacock. I know you cut yours on the side.
let me see.
These useless fan
The
brush.
fans. Oh, but you've seen what I've done to my fans,
I know you
right?
cut it straight to make grass,
Yeah.
but Peacock might be useful.
Maybe, yes. And actually, even my cut up one might be better. I think it's the sort of patterning that bothers me about it. So getting rid of the patterning and just keeping the streaky stuff is like my favorite.
What are you gonna? Oh, so you guys doing under painting? So I'm gonna do a watercolor and then gouache if I need it.
So what's your thought? Yes, good. So what's your thought on the beginning layers?
So I can't do an underpainting, obviously. I have to. I mean, I can't.
Right, you can
Yep.
layer it. You can a little bit, but not.
I'm
the
going to
same
start
way
with a
we can.
body. I'm going to start with a blue of a body, I think.
Excellent. What blue?
Well, I have to
Look
find
at it.
blue.
It looks very cool to me. It seems more like a phthalo, maybe with a touch of white.
No, I can't use words.
But I'd say maybe a phthalo blue, or do you have a turquoise?
Oh, I have loads, but not only that. I think I've
Yes.
got a turquoise.
Check your turquoises. So I would check your turquoises against this color. As soon
That's
as
what
I
I
get
think.
this, yeah. So here's my paint. I can't really quite fit it on the edge here.
Yes.
Emma says she's got some new, by the way, Emma says she has some new tools for you. Let's see. What paintbrush.
Leah, I've got to love you and leave you because I've got visitors.
All right, darling, say hello to your peacock.
Yeah,
friends.
Oscar wants to catch up as well. So are you going to put this first bit on YouTube already
It
before
will
we
be on, yes, the first part will be on YouTube. So,
Okay, great.
Yep, absolutely. See you
All
guys
right.
later.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot.
Bye.
Good to
Bye.
see you, Emma. We have good people in our ranks, don't we? We have good people who come to our classes. So I'm just going over the darkest edges, parts of this painting. I'm not having to be quite as careful in planning as Sandra does. Sandra's going to need to plan a little bit more, right? Because she needs, to have, I think she needs to be able to start with her colors and layer in. She can't do as much layering over. She has to be more careful with her layers. I'm going to paint this whole upper area kind of darkish, even though it's got light on top. But I'm in general just going towards the darks. All right, and I'm going to look for the darks kind of within the dark sort of shadow areas within the feathers here. This is a great photo.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nice light dark detail. I am not guessing where these are. I'm not putting the same marks. I really am looking at where the darks and the lights are. Like up here, you can see there's not that much dark and light, so I'm kind of leaving it for now. It's kind of down here where the darkest shapes are. And then my lighter shapes, this also, I'm going to just water my brush down a little bit. So I have less, so it's kind of more watery. It's okay to go a little on the dark side. And it's also okay at this point to kind of go behind. So you can see I've kind of lost my contrast here. And now I'm just literally going to take a watery version of my red everywhere else. I do want to get it's almost like I'm toning. I'm just going to go to a bigger brush so I can do that quickly. You see how I was struggling with that? smaller brush, which I was using to get detail. And then I'm going to let it dry for just a minute. There we go. So I have some paint everywhere. Seriously, I could probably go darker. I'm looking at kind of the darker. Yep, that's actually what I want to do. I can always lay my layers on top with acrylic and oil. It already has a little something. It's funny. Even just these little, I'm always, this is always a very exciting part of the painting process for me. Because if you get your values and your shapes right, you guys have been, working for an hour on your drawings. So your drawings are good. You're going to, even just getting the kind of basic lights and darks is really huge.